Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be ranking to the changes coming to Iraq and Afghanistan in the new Hearts of Iron 4 DLC Graveyard of Empires. The last reaction I did on Hearts of and HOI4 was the changes coming to the British Raj. I will leave it in the description if you guys want to check it out, and even here in the pin in the top right that you can see. So let's get right into it. I'll be, of course, doing some pauses to comment on the situation, giving my opinion. And of course, if you want me to do more of these types of videos, just leave a comment down below.
Welcome to our second country showcase video for the upcoming expansion, Graveyard of Empires. I'm Peter Nicholson, Game Director for Hearts of Iron, and today we'll explore historical alternative paths for the nations Afghanistan and Iraq. First, we have one of the most intriguing and overlooked nations of Hearts of Iron 4, Afghanistan.
The Graveyard of Empires.
Known as the Graveyard of Empires, Afghanistan sits at the crossroads of Asia, surrounded by powerful neighbors with competing interests. In Graveyard of Empires, Afghanistan gets a brand new focus tree that offers players an array of historical and alternative paths, all while grappling with the nation's unique challenges, unstable politics, external pressures, and a rugged landscape that's as much an obstacle as it is a defense.
Yeah, it's true. The geography of Afghanistan, it destroyed America, it beat the Americans, it beat the Soviets, and of course the British. So maybe some things like the Spanish Civil War, when you get those bonuses for defense, the unplanned offensive bonus if you try to invade Afghanistan, and it will be helpful for your defense.
If you choose to keep Afghanistan on its historical trajectory, your goal is to maintain neutrality, while avoiding the unwanted attention of both the British Raj and the Soviet Union. It's not an easy task. Both neighbors see Afghanistan as a key piece in their great game of influence. You'll work to modernize the state just enough to strengthen it without alarming the Soviets or British into intervening. Build up a defensive military, negotiate trade agreements, and play the long game. Survive the war intact, and you might just emerge as a stronger, more united country, ready to step onto the post-war stage.
I doubt
This
it.
branch, however, also has options to depart from the historical trajectory by strengthening the young Zahir Shah at the expense of his power-hungry uncles. This enables Afghanistan to move towards parliamentary democracy, or even a republic. Depending
Oh, that would be interesting. Republic of
on
Afghanistan.
choices made throughout this path, the establishment of a republic can allow Afghanistan to gain cores on more territory, or transform into a new nation such as Pashtunistan.
Oh, so Greater Afghanistan right here with the Pashtun areas. A little bit of, don't recall the name of this part here, it wants independence, but also coring Iran. Oh, that will be a great power. Now the interesting part, fascism and
Afghanistan's
communism.
communist path embraces Soviet support to overthrow the monarchy, collectivize agriculture,
Of course.
and industrialize. A successful revolution secures Comintern membership, allowing expansion into Central Asia and forming a new socialist state.
Also, Central Asian Socialist Republic. Oh, sorry.
Comintern membership, allowing expansion into Central Asia and forming a new socialist state. But what if Afghanistan didn't settle for neutrality in World War II? What if Amanullah Khan, the reformist monarch who was overthrown in 1929, returned to power with a vengeance? To restore him,
So that's
he
the
must rally
fascists.
opposition, possibly swaying Germany's support, and lead a civil war.
The return of the king.
His reforms, industrialization, education, and women's empowerment will spark resistance from traditionalists and clergy. Once stabilized, Afghanistan can align with the Axis, challenging the Soviets in Central Asia or pushing south to dominate the Indian subcontinent.
Yeah, I will be doing both, guys. And it's interesting, the fascist path, you get women's equality, education, and everything. Does you see how fucked up that part of the world is?
Afghanistan's military tree offers two distinct paths. Will you maintain the traditional levy-based army that draws upon local tribes and their age-old knowledge of guerrilla warfare? or will you modernize?
The Mujahideen.
Creating a professional standing army equipped with artillery, tanks, and aircraft.
Yeah, it would be
The
the
Levy
second
path
one.
excels at defensive warfare and is perfect for players who want to hold out against more powerful foes in Afghanistan's rugged terrain without a reliance on an industrial economy.
Okay, so
Meanwhile, the professional army path allows for a more offensive playstyle, but modernization requires major investment in infrastructure, industry, and training. Both paths will have their advantages, and choosing the right one will depend on the challenges you face.
okay, I'm a little torn which one now to pick. Modernization always the best to fight the Soviets, the British, in this case the Raj, and of course Persia. But keeping the tradition may help me hold out in the mountains, also in the Persian mountains near Azerbaijan, so I can distract the Soviets for the
Afghanistan's industrial
Germans.
branch is a delicate balancing act. On one hand, you have the rising middle class and reformers who demand modernization, factories, railroads, and a central government capable of governing effectively. On the other hand, the rural elite and tribal leaders expect the status quo to remain, fiercely opposing any changes that threaten their power or traditions. As new universities are established, their graduates will expect jobs. Otherwise, they will turn to alternative ideologies in the form of a ticking national spirit, boosting parties opposed to the current government. Now, let's set our sights
So
on
a
a nation
balancing
caught in a
act.
whirlwind of great power politics. A land rich in oil but plagued by instability.
Iraq.
Iraq. With the Graveyard of Empires country pack, Iraq receives a new and dynamic focus tree that allows players to shape the fate of the Hashemite monarchy, navigate the shadows of military conspiracies, and determine whether Iraq will bow to foreign interests or carve out its own destiny. Will you secure Britain's favor and build a Hashemite empire? Will you break free from imperial control and forge a regional alliance? The choice is yours.
Okay, so Greater Iraq, basically Greater Syria, plus Arabistan. I believe it's the name near Iran. So Greater Iraq, Great Decisions, course. The Arab League will be interesting. And the Arabs and Hashemite Dynasty. Okay, nationhoods. All great paths for me to choose.
Iraq's Hashemite monarchy exists in a precarious position. Installed by the British in the aftermath of the First World War, it must balance between maintaining legitimacy at home and keeping the favor of its foreign patrons. Walking this tightrope offers both risks and rewards. Should you choose to cozy up to London, you'll gain economic and military support in exchange for certain adjustments to your sovereignty.
So I believe. So what? I become Britain's bitch.
Gradual territorial concessions and agreements on oil will ensure a steady flow of British investment, arming and industrializing Iraq under the watchful eyes of the Empire. However, this road does not have to end in subservience. With careful diplomacy and statecraft, Iraq can leverage British support to expand Hashemite rule, either through the creation of a Hashemite federation that unites Iraq and Transjordan, or by pursuing an even more ambitious vision, the restoration of the Hashemite Caliphate, using British backing to lay claim to leadership of the Islamic world.
Now this is a Greater Arabia I want.
Of course, the longer British troops remain in Iraq, the more resentment will fester among the people.
So basically I need to do everything quickly before I become a puppet or revolution. The coups and
For
conquests.
those who see Iraq's reliance on Britain as a chain rather than an opportunity, there is another path. The military coup of General Bakr Siddiqui. Historically Iraq's first modern military dictator, Siddiqui represents a new direction for the country. By backing his coup, you can turn Iraq into an independent and militarized power, rejecting foreign interference in favor of forging an alliance with Turkey and Iran, the two other regional powers wary of British and Soviet ambitions. Together, these nations can stand united against imperialist forces, ensuring their survival in a world dominated by global giants. This path requires careful diplomacy and a willingness to challenge British influence while avoiding outright war until you are ready. If played correctly, Iraq can become the dominant force in the Middle East without being anyone's pawn. By supporting the Golden Square, A group of radical officers inspired by fascism and Arab nationalism, you can overthrow the Hashemite monarchy and transform Iraq into the spearhead of a new pan-Arab movement. Historically,
That would be my
this coup
first
led Iraq
option.
into a short-lived war with Britain. But with the right moves, you can turn it into something much greater. By throwing your lot in with the Axis, you can rally the Arab world against the imperialist powers, using
Okay, so I
German
can have
support
Germany.
to launch military campaigns aimed at unifying the Middle East under Iraqi rule. With enough ambition and firepower, you could redraw the map entirely, casting aside the artificial borders left behind by colonial powers.
Okay, so this is a Great Arabia. From sea to sea, from the Atlantic to the Indian, to the Indian Ocean. So Morocco up to Iran.
But the enemies you make along the way will not take this lightly.
So wait, so in this case I have to fight the Allies and Italy. This for of course Libya. Unless I can buy it from them, that would be even perfect.
Can you survive the wrath of the British, the Turks, and the Persians long enough to build a truly united Arab state?
I think not. Oh, it would be a pretty good challenge.
Regardless of which path you take, one thing remains true. Iraq sits atop one of the most valuable resources in the world. The oil fields of Iraq can be exploited to fund rapid industrialization, equipping your armies and fueling economic expansion. How you wield this wealth depends on your political situation. A British-aligned Iraq will see much of its oil wealth siphoned off in exchange for industrial and military aid. A militarized independent Iraq will need to develop its own petroleum industry, relying on domestic initiatives to fuel its growth. Meanwhile, fascist Iraq, aligned with the Axis, can use oil as leverage, trading with Germany and Italy to secure weapons and infrastructure.
Oh, wait.
Leverage.
So Iraq gets 500. For light tanks, targeting Italy or United Kingdom. And military support and stockpile. So good, I can leverage my wealth.
Trading with Germany and Italy to secure weapons and infrastructure. Oil is both a blessing and a curse. Manage it well, and you will have the means to build a modern nation. Fail, and Iraq could become an imperialist puppet once again. Tolerate the British, and you can leverage their support for Iraq's modernization. Resist them diplomatically, and you may carve out an independent position without bloodshed. Defy them completely, and you had better be ready to fight. An enraged Britain has the means to crush Iraq if provoked too soon, so timing is everything.
Okay.
Iraq is a nation brimming with potential and danger. Sandwiched between great powers, blessed with vast oil reserves.
Transjordan. Oh, so they're bringing new stuff like Republic of Syria, Mandatory of Palestine.
Divided between competing political movements, it is a country poised for either greatness or destruction. Thank you for tuning in. Next time we'll take a look at the great country of Iran.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Iran. For Iran because I want to recreate the Persian Empire, like from 300, from the Indus, Egypt, all the way up to Greece.
Until then, may your enemies tremble before you and your oil flow freely.
Okay. So nothing else. I just want to check one thing. Here's the map. Okay, so we get new Middle Eastern countries, especially Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, and Transjordan. So basically, this is something I want to hope they also do this in Africa, for West Africa and French Equatorial Africa and West Africa, splitting up the empire like they did with Indonesia, Malaysia, Manchuria. And I do believe in the beginning, the Raj was directly controlled by Britain. So having these changes, more playability, more countries to try to use. Maybe these four right here get a new focus tree, a basic one, just to make sure that they're a puppet or they can go independent, a small one or smaller paths that we can play as. But in the end of the day, I say, guys, thank God we have the Middle East, a new focus tree. This is a place that was a lot of imperial influence, and in the game was always quiet. Unless Iraq went with the Golden Square, the only thing that happened was the British invasion of Iraq. But with the new focus, maybe Iraq can go Soviet, can go fascist with Italy and Germany, or carve out its own path, Afghanistan too. And Iran historically got shafted, divided by Britain and the USSR during the war. Maybe we can have a path where we defend ourselves, ally with the Germans, or ally with the Allies to protect us from the Soviet Union. Well guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget, of course, to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Have a good one.